Hello, my name is Scott Dixon, and I am very much looking forward to going over what I think to be one of the most important aspects of developing one's skiing ability, whether that's roller skiing or on cross-country skis. The examples I'm going to lean on today are going to be particularly on roller skis, and the drill is going to be the one thing drill, or the one thing principle. Which will be fairly self-explanatory as we go through this. But here's a great example of somebody cornering just fantastically well. And I wanted to play that first just to lead into this conversation about cornering. Again, it's so undertaught, and these are all the elements of cornering, or at least a huge number of those elements, the most important ones at least. So let's go through them. First of all, we have for novices. This is, I can expect after 4 days to have or one session, to have everyone doing little steps, slow, or even just, very small gradients, pushing with the outside leg, look where you're going, and that's also rotating the shoulder around. Outside arm lead, so that's just pointing with the arm where you're going. Very helpful in terms of getting them to rotate the upper body correctly. Low center of gravity, just standing braced, super easy. Using the edges for kicking, it's very hard to kick without using the edge of your wheel or ski. So this is more just a byproduct of doing an essential movement. And then leaning on the pole. That's when you actually put your body weight in the pole and orbit around it. Snowplow turn, again, for complete beginners. I don't teach this unless the person is susceptible to injury. Otherwise, I just don't teach snowplow turn. That's where you have one ski pointing forward, the other one snowplowing, and you just use that to control your direction and movement. But again, it's one of those things we really don't want to teach or get into the habit of relying on. Weighting the inside edge of the ski. So this is for intermediate now. And for weighting the inside edge of the ski, what that means, or when it's most important, is as you're approaching a corner, you're just about to get to the moment of turning. Very, very often, the people who have gone from being a beginner struggle to get into the intermediate phase because they aren't sure what to do in this moment correctly. And the thing I teach first, once people have that basic ability, is get your weight on the inside edge of your outside ski. So if I'm turning right, my weight will be on my left leg and it will be on the edge ready to kick. I'm weighting that leg. It's much easier said than done, but got some great drills to bring you up to speed on that, and I really look forward to sharing those with you. Inside leg forward. I will use the visual demonstrations to get to that. Edge to edge, living on the edge. So cornering is all about momentum, inertia, words that I probably don't really know how to define, but that feel right for cornering. And edge to edge, that is, you are just living on the edge of those skis until you have got round the corner because you're leaning effectively. So I didn't put leaning in there because I have leaning in advanced and a little bit more of an extreme version of lean. Heel down, toe up. Okay, so again, one I'm going to lean on visuals to bring you up to speed with. And then bobbing rhythm. This is when we have a rise and fall, and we're dropping our body weight to redirect or to get that edge dug in even more firmly. And that can be everything from rising and falling quite blatantly with the upper body to literally just this little rhythm, this tiny little bobbing rhythm. It's beautiful, and it's, again, one of those awesome aspects of cornering which I really love to teach. Fully weighting outside leg kick. Fully weighted outside leg kick. Now, you could just say big kick with your outside leg, whatever. It doesn't really matter, but it's about that full body weight commitment, and it's about it being a very concerted thrust. If you are just pushing off that leg, it doesn't have the same intensity as if you are if you have all of your body weight on it and you are completely changing the direction of movement of your whole body with that one single kick. If it isn't a complete direction change, then I wouldn't grant it full weighted outside leg kick status. Okay, so again, categories here. So parallel turning is a kind of different category of turning, but still intermediate. I teach parallel turning on day 4 for my novices when I'm coaching soldiers, and so do all of our coaches. In fact, we teach it even earlier if they can do it earlier. Parallel turning is just such a brilliant drill, essentially, for teaching cornering, because it's about the principle of getting the weight on one ski under the body. Parallel turning is very much one ski. Kinda. People will argue with that. Skate, cornering, skipping. Okay, so this is where you are essentially skipping around a corner and pulling on your outside leg. It's like doing skate 1 on, if you're turning right, you do skate 1 on your left side around a corner. If you're turning left, it's skate 1 on your right leg. Again, I'm going to show you that in this video. Touching the tips. Okay, this is where it gets a bit more advanced. Now, novices can certainly do this, but it's doing it really effectively. And I'll show you examples of this. It's where the skis, your outside leg doesn't come parallel with your inside leg. It actually comes beyond parallel, where your legs are starting to, your tips of your skis are actually touching. On actual skis, they do touch. You can hear them clipping. On roller skis, you can also make them touch if you're really good at this. The reason for that is you want your body weight to be over the ski that takes your weight, and you don't want to have to move your weight back and forward when you're doing chop, 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 chop. So you're bringing your ski under your weight over and over and over again. Again, can't wait to show you some examples of that. Head over inside leg. Okay, so this is, your head is not just over the inside leg, it's like beyond it. Maybe I should reword that. Head beyond inside leg. It doesn't matter. You get the idea. I'll show you examples. Is where the head is not just over, but beyond. You're leaning like the leaning tower of Pisa. God, that's so lame. But anyway, you get my point. The lean. I have put the lean separate to this because it doesn't have to be as dramatic as having your head like way over for the lean to be really powerful. It can just be, you can be leaning backwards for and if you're trying to cut your momentum to do a really tight turn right, the leaning backwards can be completely sufficient to kill your weight if you're putting your ski at a sufficient angle. Using the ski as a brake, and that's essentially what I'm referring to here. Again, it's a different type of cornering. It's for different... I'm not going to touch on this much in this video, to be fair, but I will give a really specific dedicated video to this because it's useful to be able to stop. It's probably the best way of stopping. It's not snowplow, that's not the best way of stopping. Bailing out in the grass, that's not the best way of stopping. And scraping your roller ski wheel is also not the best type. This is it. It's using the ski as a brake by stepping really harsh and leaning proportional to the angle of your step. Too many complicated words. You get my point. We're going to discuss that in a different film. But these are the elements of cornering, and we're going to go through those in this video analysis session. Session overview. How do all of those points play in to the cornering aspects? So here you can see this lovely upper body rotation. He's got his right hand forward, left hand behind his back. He's got his left leg forward. He's got that lean. He's got the head way over. We can see better angles of that for examples. This is top level cornering. And I'm showing you this example because it is just so good, such a high level. And this guy has not roller skied much at all. He's done a lot of skiing, but really transferred well. There, I love this example because you can see his skis are so close together. The other guy as well, skis so close. The wheels actually, it's not just stepping and then the wheel holds the line. That's not the case at all. The outside ski sometimes actually curves when you put weight on it. You can just put all of your weight on your outside ski and curve without lifting your ski up. And I'll show you video of that because you might find that hard to believe. I would find that hard to believe if someone had just told me that. A lovely example here also of the heel staying down, lifting the toe up. Like I said, it's that toe coming up and the heel remaining in place. Got the right foot forward here. We've got all that weight on the outside ski. Beautiful. Lots of great examples to pull here. And you can see his left arm is all the way around. His right arm's up here somewhere. So he's rotating that upper body. Hips are still facing somewhat forward. So yeah, bear that in mind. It doesn't come from the hips. look where you want to go, obvious. So before we do a session like this, we of course need to have a warm-up. I like to set out some cones. It gives me a good opportunity to see my athlete's standard. Here's a really lovely example of putting the pole down, leaning on the pole. So he's not got a huge amount of momentum as he attacks this cone here, but because he's got a really lovely lean, he's able to put his weight on his pole. And that's a completely valid technique. Skiers use it all the time when there's really tight corners. But yeah, super useful and a great skill to have because you're simulating your pole taking that weight simulates the inertia you have pushing you outward when you hit a corner, and therefore you're simulating the lean. You're not falling because of the pole, or you're not falling because of the inertia. Either way, the lean, the angle is the same, and that angle on the ski is the same, and the head right over the ski is the same. This is fantastic cornering, absolutely fantastic. So when I'm looking here at some different examples, you can see not using the pole, but that's fine. Not every example here is of somebody who's doing there's obviously different levels of technique, and I've got the intermediate phase and different things within it. And as I said in the start of the session, it's the one thing principle or one thing drill, where I'm always just giving the athlete one of the 17 elements of cornering to think about at any one time. No more. Just one thing. So if the one thing for the other guy was leaning on your pole, but for this guy, it might be get the leg onto the body. So I wouldn't expect him to be thinking about the pole. In any case, he's doing really well to bring those feet in together, nice and tight. So this is also very good cornering. We worked a lot with that athlete on getting his legs closer together. All right. And we can see other examples of the really small steps. Jab, 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 jab. Here's a good visual of beyond parallel. So that's the legs completely parallel. But just look, the next frame, I'll just draw you the arrows so you can see. So both skis are going in, let's see, that direction, completely and utterly. But the next frame, when the ski lands, you now have, let me just see, it's really hard to see my mouse. I don't understand the design of this app sometimes. Oh my God, the mouse is up there. That's no good. You can now see that the ski is pointing in this direction. Wow, I've done way too many arrows. But you get the idea. The ski has gone from there to there in one movement. And that is so that you've got a positive redirect in the new direction. So again, we've got to teach at the start of this session, bailing out, because we are going to be attacking a very challenging corner. And the idea is that it's on the edge of one's ability. So you're going to hit the grass. So we practice, first of all, going into the grass with optimal technique. And that's by, as you can see here with this awesome example, this athlete is leaning back over his rear leg, front leg almost straight, way out in front of him. And then he's got this really backward lean. Hands are up, brace, low body position, optimum. Fantastic. And another example to follow of that fantastic technique. The edge of your ability plus one thing. So we've hit this corner, and as you can see already, this is on the very edge of this very good cornerer's ability. That means when we focus on one aspect of his technique, we can say, right, we're going to go a little bit higher up than where your ability is and focus on this one thing. Do some drills to focus on that, to get that one thing honed, and then go and do that corner again and see if you can get round with greater success. Love this drill. I just love this principle. Is just such a useful way of learning cornering. It's just very proactive. It's very, just get on with it. So this athlete right now is focusing on loading his right leg. That means he's got his weight on his outside leg. He's about to hit the corner and do one big kick with a positive redirect in his new direction. So focus, weighting the outside ski. Now watch with that kick. I would say, part of the process here is giving feedback as I would these athletes. so you can see the kinds of lessons that we can derive from video analysis. So if we take a look at his right leg just a few frames ago, he's coming at the corner with, I would say, a fairly soft directional change. So he's actually cut the corner a little bit too tight and still just managing to get around the corner. So a perfect execution of the cornering, in that he really was on the edge of his ability. This was a little bit too easy, but executed very well. I mentioned I was going to show you some drifting. And this is, he has got such a good lean, so much weight on that outside leg that he has just drifted around the corner, barely had to step. There's a great example of good lean, but not drifting. He's actually kicking. And you can see the hands coming up here, the use of the hands to lift the body. That comes in conjunction with a kick. So you kick, you lift the hands, and that just gives you that maybe 5-6 kilograms less going in the direction you don't want to go. You've got 5 or 6 kilograms now going in the optimal direction in accordance with your kick. So he's kicked with his right leg, lifted his hands, and this is what's so exciting about cornering. You can see it all the time with how we tackle it. Somebody had a wee crash back then. You can see this bobbing motion now. And this is just in the same vein as what I was just saying with his hand motions. Watch. Every time he kicks with his right leg, kick, and look, the hands come up. Kick and hands up. You're just taking 3 or 4 kilos. This is the bobbing. 3 or 4 kilos, 5 or 6 kilos, whatever it is, just by lifting the hands up. And that can be forward, that can be backwards. There, he actually lifted his elbows up and behind him. The same principle applies. You're still lifting that body weight in the opposite direction to where you to the energy of your kick, or in the same direction as the energy of your kick. Whatever. I think you understand what I'm saying. Hopefully. So we'll just let some of these examples roll now, much though I'd love to keep on nattering. The lovely hand positions there. Some really excellent cornering. So this athlete, Tom, fantastic student in the sense that when we're looking at the videos, he is very proactive in saying, okay, that's what I'm doing wrong. He can totally see it. So he comes to me and says, right, my legs are not close enough together. So he comes around this next time and look how close he's managing to get his legs. He might not have the perfect lean here in that he's coming at this really hard and fast, but yet his nose is not quite 100%, or perhaps not quite enough over his feet, although still very good. It is a lovely lean, but look there. Look at the subtlety of this motion. Skis are both parallel. Both of them are going in the same direction. His right leg instigates the move, is now coming close to parallel. Touching tips. Now, if you imagine you've got 2 very long skis on, that triangular shape that you're creating, it does result in your tips touching. And it means that on snow in particular, you have to actually lift up your inside leg. It happens automatically, this, to make room for the edge so that you're not just stepping on ski, you're putting one ski on top of the other, because then you would fall. So that's a really beautiful example of how to bring the legs in close together. Great example of lifting the heel up as well. Look at his left leg. He's keeping the wheel down and lifting his toe up. And using that method of turning, we did lots and lots of drills to practice just keeping the toe down before. So very well executed. So he really attacked this corner. Look at him shrugging with his shoulders, trying to just get every little gram of body weight in conjunction with the kick to prevent him from hitting the grass. Look at this now. I'm just going to list some of the beautiful aspects of this technique here. So we have head completely over the ski. Actually, his nose is further over his left leg than his left leg is to his right, than the distance between his feet. That's how hard he's hitting this corner. He's got a really lovely right arm pointing or almost twisting, so the shoulder is going around the corner. You can just focus on that, by the way. Take your outside arm and point where you want to go. Again, so many great drills just doing that alone. The left arm is behind him. Yes, he's looking where he's wanting to go, and that's super important. I don't know why I'm saying yes as though there's a but there. There's not. Looking where you want to go is absolutely fundamental of cornering. Left leg in front of his right leg, so that's perfect. On the edges, awesome kick from this outside leg. The inside leg is a redirect and balance and catching your weight. The right is for kicking and creating like really big power. And remember, cornering is not about just getting round. It's about acceleration. The amount of force that goes through your outside leg on a corner is your body weight plus the inertia. I'm pretending that I'm a mathematician here. I obviously I don't know the exact equation here, but my logical inference here is that you've got all of that momentum running into the corner or running into your outside leg, and you have your body weight, and you've got to combat that momentum and combat that body weight with a kick. So not only has let's just call it 60 kilograms of inertia or momentum, whatever. In the comments, please correct me with how wrong I'm getting these words, but you'll get my idea. So he's got that 50, 60 kilograms of momentum plus, let's say, 70 kilograms of body weight. We'll call that 130 kilograms of energy. Okay, that's definitely not right. But the principle is there's a lot of weight going through these legs. And every time he kicks, that counts towards accelerating out of the corner. You don't want to just get round it. You want to accelerate out of it. And that is the difference between a great cornerer and somebody who is losing potentially 30 seconds a lap on a 3.3 kilometer track, particularly in biathlon. That's how we weigh up those equations in biathlon. But so much weight, his skis are getting kicked out all over the place, and he hits the grass, which I love. I love it when they fail to get round the corner. It means that they are trying their absolute best and taking risk. I want to see the risk. Look at that. Look at that. It's just so good. When somebody is this good at cornering without having done much, it's all about just giving them one thing to think about and just pushing the limits over and over and over again, because they have accelerated learning. They will just develop themselves without the prompting necessarily. Now, if you're enjoying these videos, I really would appreciate you supporting me in any way you can, whether that's just by commenting, liking the video, or subscribing to the channel. But if you do want to send me 20 cents, 30 cents, 35 cents, or pounds if you're one of the 10% of British people watching this, then please do, because it would really help me or encourage me to make more films. So thank you if you are able to help out. But no worries if you're not. I intend to keep these free for as long as I can. Intermediate. Right, we're going to take a look at some other examples of some students here doing the bobbing rhythm. So you'll see the head going up and down and up and down. I just thought this was a really nice example of that rising and falling. Every time you rise and fall, you're just putting the weight on the outside leg, allowing you to kick in the new direction really effectively. So down and kick, down and kick, down and kick. That's the bobbing. So here I'm looking at this, or we were focusing on getting that upper body rotation. The funny thing about the upper body rotation is that it looks like the shoulders are somewhat flat. It looks like the hips are somewhat flat and just going in the direction that you are facing. But when you put one shoulder in front of the other, it rotates the spine. So if you took a bird's eye view of this, and perhaps I should get a drone and just fly it from above, if ever the budget allows, I will do that. Anyway, you'd see the spine rotating. And By twisting the spine, it twists your body, it twists your head, it enables you to push in the new direction, not commit to the last direction. And look at his feet position, lovely and close together. And we really are pushing this to the limit on this particular corner. So Tom, behind here, he struggles to get his legs really far underneath his body, but was working on that, and you can see his satisfaction here as he's like, yes, I did that. And that was after a few difficult attempts. This athlete struggling a little bit to kick with the outside leg, so my feedback after that one would be kick with the outside leg a bit more aggressively. And here's one of Tom's struggles to commit. Where are we at? Let's just go and look at that. So the first time, or here you can see that positive redirect with his right leg. The left leg just catching, it's not going beyond parallel, which is a problem, which I would say, okay, next time, let's get that leg beyond parallel. Even though this was a success, it needs to be beyond parallel, not just parallel. So that would be the one single thing to focus on for Tom after that effort. A really good attempt there, just attacking it so hard, but not quite making it. And then he didn't know where the cone was, so he went off as well. And trying his best. Love it that he's completely blown out of the corner and hit the grass. Again, love it. I'm saying just go for it now, guys. You need to hammer this and find a way with that one thing to think about, because we've done this a few times now. We're establishing what that one thing is that each individual needs to think about. It's not a drill that everyone has the same thing. It's everyone has the same principle of focusing on one task. And then it's a case of now attack it really hard, and we'll see the benefits. And in the race, you can see these guys, again, who have not done much roller skiing. Lots of skiing in the winters, because that's when the soldiers go in and do their training. But lots and lots and lots of corners in advance of this little race, giving them the ability to maximize the momentum they have coming into the corner to come out of the corner fast. So please subscribe, leave a comment, ask any questions, like, and if you can support the channel, I'd be very grateful. This is me going around this corner, and I'm showing you now an example of the skate skipping cornering. It's where our poles are coming down at the same time as the outside leg. My right leg and both pole tips are landing at the same time, just like in skate 1 or offset or V1, I think it is in USA terms, but the uphill technique. The poles come down at the same time as the outside leg. And we're going to have a look at the examples from the athletes giving that a go. Managing to find his rhythm. Perfect landing. He's lifting his inside leg up. Dancing. It's a skip. You really want to get that inside leg out the way. And that's because you're actually really bringing the outside leg in a lot over the angle, like almost like to where the other ski was. And therefore, if you don't lift your inside leg, you're probably going to land one ski on top of the other and fall. So there, he moves his inside leg out the way to land everything on that one leg. This is one of the most important drills and something that I love to teach. It's skipping, it's bouncy, it's all in line with the principles of hopping and bobbing on one leg, but you're landing on 3 points. Your left pole, your right pole, and your ski all at the same time, or your right leg all at the same time. Of course, there's 2 wheels. The advantage of that is that you are propelling with your arms and you're propelling with your leg. All that body weight is coming up. You haven't got the other one stealing some of that weight and therefore minimizing the energy. You're landing completely on your poles and your ski at the same time. This is so beautiful. That right there is such a lovely, gentle, rhythmic, gliding skip. This is also very much rhythmic and gliding and skippy and nice. But we're going to go, hopefully, I think I set this. Yeah, this guy right here is landing so smoothly on the pole's right leg at the same time. And he's just using his inside leg now, bending. So he's landing on a bent leg and he's just skipping up with that leg. The function of the left leg is simply to lift the body weight up. It's just a wee hop. And then right leg, hop, right leg, power, hop, power, hop. And it is so valuable to be able to do this on both sides. Not just for short, sharp, dynamic races, but for long distance skis. If you can do it as smoothly as this guy's doing it right here, you can carry so much momentum around corners. So here's an example of other athletes doing this, other students doing this. And it does not have to be dynamic. It doesn't have to be a big jump. It can be a bob. Although some, you can see, are doing lots of big hops and big bobs. But it's a timing thing. Let me just explain that if you're turning left, then you are, as these athletes are, you're pulling on your right leg. But if you're turning right, then they're pulling on their left leg. Now, if you can go uphill and change seamlessly between pulling on your right side to your left side, then you'll be able to quite easily pick this up. If you struggle with one side in particular, then I start this drill, not by doing this drill, but by teaching the skate one or the uphill technique, V1 or offset, on your weak side. And I just get you to do that for a session or so until that becomes second nature. Then I move on to this. So you can see that skipping, that timing, and it's, I like to say, for those who are familiar with my videos, stamp and pole equals stole. I'm combining the stamping action, the poling action, and the two words stamp, pole to equal stole. So have a look. As his left foot goes down, I will say stole, and you'll see the three things happen simultaneously. We'll do it with these guys here, actually. So let's look at the guy at the front. His right leg will go down at the same time as his poles go down. Stole. Step. Stole. Stamp and pole equals stole. Step. We're already in a downward position as we land on that right leg and bend and kick. When we kick, we can kick up on a left leg. So you've got your right leg is already pushing you in that upward direction. Your left leg just enhances with a hop. And up you go. Boom. Pull, stole, step, stole, step, stole, step. And it's this beautiful rhythm. I really do love this technique. It's such an important part of cornering. And as you can see, this is Ed Prentice, one of the talented BBU Talent ID athletes from long ago, who absolutely smashed that drill and over years has worked on it, and he's now doing really good. So I've shown you a lot of the cornering movements and elements, and now I'm just going to show you. In fact, we'll just go back to this right here. We've seen all of these elements. We've seen fully weighted outside leg kick. We've seen the bobbing rhythm, the heel down, toe up. That's just the wheel staying down. There's drills for every single one of these. There's 10 drills for every single one of these to really focus your attention on it. But if you're here, if you're in the novice category and you're approaching corners with wide legs, then that's very, very common and totally fine. The thing that I would get you doing is very simply one leg drills. Your cornering drills would not be to go and practice lots and lots of corners. Of course, there'd be some of that. So especially when you're with me, we would do the cornering. But when you're away and I give you some instructions or some sessions to go and do, it would be just spend 30 minutes, 15 minutes on one leg, on each leg in a session. And that's it. That is the difference between being able to corner and not. So if we go back to the one leg drills, this is the fundamentals of cornering. Being able to go around cones on one leg, being able to hop freely on one leg, being able to lean on your poles, and having a sense of comfort on one leg, knowing that you can hop yourself out of danger. That is the fundamentals of cornering, and everyone who can do one leg drills really well can corner really well. People who struggle to do cornering are people who struggle to do 1 foot drills. So if you want to improve your cornering, set out a figure of 8 cones and do 1 minute on your right leg, 1 on your left leg, 1 on your right leg, 1 on your left leg. It can be in your drive at home. It can be hopping like you're seeing right now, although this is quite advanced. As you can see, some are quite struggling. But this is the end of the video, and I'm really grateful that you've stayed this long. I'm going to take a breath because I'm getting dizzy. I've had like 6 coffees today. It's not good. But if you want me to do some video analysis of your videos, and if you want to feature on some YouTube channels, then send me some videos, and I will put my email address in the description so that you can do that. Ideally through WeTransfer or a Google Drive link or something like that. And if the videos are of sufficiently high quality, that is, it's clear, then I will do a video analysis of your technique with positive and constructive feedback, things to take away and drills to go and practice, so that you can see yourself being analysed, essentially. And equally, if you are interested in doing any lessons with me, just online virtual lessons, that is also something that I do offer, and it would be a pleasure to do that with you. If you want more details, just send me an email and let me know. But other than that, thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. All of those things really help me out. And if you want to go one step further and contribute to the channel, send me the smallest amount of thank you money. It would be amazing and really encourage me to do more of this. But in the meantime, go out there on one leg and ski for 30 minutes, 15 minutes on each ski. That's your task in the meantime, so that you become a legendary cornerer and stop losing time in those races that needn't be lost. Thank you and have a great day. Bye.